Letters from Space, written by Clayton Anderson, illustrated by Susan Pittori. Dear Mom, I did it! I made it into outer space. Launch was so cool. I can't even believe it happened. It was loud, it was scary, and the entire space shuttle shook like crazy. Once we started going really fast, I felt so heavy. It was like I weighed 3 times what I usually do. We went faster and faster and faster, and then everything went quiet. I started to rise out of my seat. I was weightless. There's so much more to come. I hope I receive lots of letters during my 5 months in space. I love you. Your son, Clayton. Flight day number 4. Breaking news. Bobbleheads on International Space Station. Hello, Sutton. Did you see us on TV yet? My head looks ginormous. All the fluids in my body have gone to my head. In weightlessness, that's very common in the first days. Our hearts pump too much with fluid into our heads because our brains think we're still on Earth. But with no gravity, it makes us look like we're a bunch of bobbleheads. It should go away soon. Our brain and blood flow systems will figure everything out fast, and I'm hoping I'll look more normal very soon. Keep watching, Clayton. Flight day 11. Dear Mission Control, just want to let you know I'm on day 3 of my 3rd pair of underwear. I know I'm supposed to wear them for 4 days before I throw them into the trash, but if they're still pretty clean, should I wear them for a few more days? I know we need to conserve our supplies up here. Thanks, Clayton. Flight day 22. Hey, Cole. Thanks so much for writing to me. I'm so glad your teacher figured out my address up here. You have a new puppy? That is so cool. We can't have pets in space. It would be neat to have a dog or a cat, but what a mess with no gravity. Where would it go to the bathroom? Astronauts do bring animals to space. There have been mice and spiders and minnows and butterflies. The spiders' webs looked so strange at first, all crooked and messy, but they came around eventually. Astronauts have watched butterflies grow from caterpillars. It took them a while to realize they would still fly. Scientists want to see how animals and insects adapt to being weightless because they might help us figure out how humans adapt to space. Man, human and animal brains are really cool. Woof, woof, Clayton. Cosmo, bring it. Flight day 31. Sophia, thanks so much for the pictures from your vacation. The Rocky Mountains are beautiful, but you should see them from 250 miles up. They look so tiny from up here. We take pictures of Earth from space, too. Scientists give us targets for something they call Crew Earth observations. They compare our photographs over time, hoping to find clues about how things like ocean health, soil erosion, deforestation, and city growth, they like to use the word sprawl, are changing. It's really cool to take a picture and have scientists tell you that you've helped solve a real world problem. Keep sending those pictures, Clayton. Flight day 45. Hello, brother. I just did a spacewalk. It was incredible. I put on my spacesuit and went outside to work in space. When I exited through the hatch, it was totally black outside. The sun was behind the earth. I couldn't see anything, but I turned my helmet headlights on and went to work. We were out there for over 7 hours, and I rode in the robotic arm. I was like one of those guys who fix tires on utility poles, but in space. Man, did I have some great views of the Milky Way and the space station. Flight day 45 continued. Spacewalking can really tire you out. It was hard in thinking kind of way. You must be careful and think about every single thing. Mistakes are bad, and we don't get any do-overs. You'll be happy to know my spacesuit worked perfectly. It was like I was in my very own personal spaceship. It had everything I needed: oxygen, drinking water, AC, and I could talk to mission control. With no gravity, I was flying inside my suit. It was amazing. See you soon, Clayton. Flight day number 92. Hey, mission control. Dang it, I lost my red marker again. I really want to find it because I love to label everything in red. Please let me know if you see it floating around in space station on the live television feed. I'm hoping it got stuck into one of the air vents, and that's what usually happens. Clayton. Flight day 125. It's lunchtime in space, Anna. My favorite foods come from Russia. That's a good thing because my Russian crewmates like all the American food. I love to start my meal with a can of stuff they call appetizing appetizer. It looks kind of like baby food. Yum. After that, I always love a nice can of lamb with vegetables or pork and potatoes. It looks a lot like cat food. Maybe it even smells like cat food, but I swear it doesn't taste like cat food. Scientists are watching everything I put in my mouth. I send them notes every week and tell them all the foods I ate. They want to know how much I eat, what I eat, and how often I eat. They're trying to figure out what diet will keep us healthy if we stay in space for a long, long time. Clayton. Flight day 129. Dear Doc S., I think I made a huge mistake today. I was opening a bag of butterscotch pudding for lunch and I squeezed the end of the bag too hard. A big blob of pudding squirted out and flew across the module. It headed straight for my commander's face. But at the last second, he opened his mouth and ate it right out of the air. I was so embarrassed and praying he wouldn't get mad. But he just licked his lips and gave me a thumbs up. I thought of you because it's a great example of Newton's first law. An object either remains at rest or continues to move at a constant velocity unless acted upon by a force. The pudding was at rest until it acted on the bag with a force. Whew, that was a close one. Clayton. Flight day 134. Hey, Tommy. I was thinking of you today and how we used to read comic books in Julie's apple tree back home. And then I realized that up here in space, I'm Superman. Every single day, I fly to breakfast, then I fly to work. And if I need a break, I fly to the bathroom and even fly while I'm going to the bathroom. So cool. Stay super, Clayton. Flight day 139. Dear Mrs. Rakes, I know you're nearly halfway through the school year and I hope your science classes are having fun. I wanted to thank you for teaching me about the scientific method when I was in your class. It made me love science and now I'm doing it in outer space. We have so many experiments to do while we're in the weightlessness. One of my favorite is growing plants. Mission Control sent up two plant growth chambers on a cargo rocket. One has basil seeds in it, and the other has lettuce seeds. I water them every day and then take photos of them on the days I don't give them water. Kids on Earth are following along to learn how things grow in space. Then they'll design a plant growth chamber of their own. How neat is that? I sure hope aliens like basil and lettuce. Thanks again, Clayton. Flight day 148. Dear Mom, I'm coming home soon. I cannot wait to give you a huge hug. It has been almost half a year since I launched into space, and I'm looking forward to being home again. The time has flown by up here, ha ha, and life and weightlessness has been really fun. I can do so many flips. I could win an Olympic gold medal in gymnastics. I'm ready to feel the sunlight and breeze on my face and smell freshly cut grass. I'm also ready for a nice big T-bone steak and baked potato. I'm so proud of everything we've accomplished. I can't believe I did 6 spacewalks and flew the robotic arm. Who would have thought a small town kid would end up living in outer space? I love you so much. See you soon, Clayton. Flight day 152. Dear Mission Control, I'm home, safely back on Earth, and boy, am I glad about that. Maybe we should have a big party now that I'm back. We could invite family and friends and all the great folks who helped keep me safe up here. I know how hard they worked, that they had to spend time away from their families too. It would be neat to say thank you to them for helping me live my dream. Respectfully, Clayton. P.S. from the astronaut. NASA uses the term Space Adaptation Syndrome, or SAS, to describe what happens to astronauts when they first get to space with no gravity. Their bodies are constantly in motion, upside down, sideways, diagonal, and they literally cannot believe their eyes. The brain doesn't understand what their eyes are seeing, and astronauts tend to get nauseous. The brain catches up eventually. A good night's sleep helps a lot. NASA likes to use mice for many of their studies. The life cycle of a mouse is similar to that of a human, but it happens much, much faster. So, if we're trying to learn something about humans, mice help us learn sooner, and they're so cute. NASA astronauts train for spacewalks in swimming pool. The pool is 200 feet or 61 meters long, 100 feet wide, and 40 feet deep. It holds 6.2 million gallons of water with a temperature of about 85 degrees Fahrenheit to keep everyone nice and comfortable. Astronauts do not have the ability to wash their clothes while in space. They wear each item of clothing longer than we would here on Earth, then throw it away. The ground team gives astronauts a recommendation for how long they should wear each item of clothing, like socks, underwear, and t-shirts. But it's just a recommendation, and we can wear it as long as we can stand it. Many astronauts love taking photos of the Earth from space. Some set photography goals, like taking a picture of every Major League Baseball stadium in the United States or each of the wonders of the world. With no gravity in space, it's very easy to lose things. It just takes a small bump and objects can go flying, finding nooks and crannies. They can disappear for days at a time. Mission Control even sends up notes asking astronauts to be on the lookout for various pieces of equipment. One camera lens was lost for years. It was finally found behind the rack that hadn't been moved in ages. Playing with food in space is absolutely allowed. It's a whole lot of fun and is a wonderful way to celebrate the effects of living without gravity with the rest of the team. Care must be taken, though. If the food makes a lot of crumbs, it's best to be close to an air vent that can help suck the particles into the filter. We'll vacuum it later. NASA hopes to be able to grow food in the space station that will make the long journey to Mars someday. Growing plants without dirt is something quite new to most Earthlings, who have been planting seeds to soil for centuries. Special lighting is used to make the veggies grow faster and stronger in outer space. Astronauts go to food tastings before blastoff. They taste every food available and give each one a rating from 1 to 10. 10 is good. The ground team then prepares each astronaut's personal menu considering calories, variety, and meal type, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when astronauts score a food 7 or higher, they will see it on their menu in space. Living and working in space is a wild change. Everything that comes naturally on Earth is completely different without gravity. Using tools, writing, typing on a computer, even sleeping presents a whole new experience. And while we really don't need our legs much, our feet become more like an extra pair of hands. They're especially useful for sticking under a handrail to help keep us steady as we move around the ship. Teamwork is a key component of the space flight. While astronauts may be the ones who fly in outer space, there are hundreds of amazing folks on the ground who work countless hours keeping the crew and their spacecraft safe. When the team on Earth says failure is not an option, it means they know that astronauts are counting on them to solve any problem we face. Space flight is the ultimate team sport.